So this is a second video in my series of videos where I'm talking about reviews. So now this time we're going to talk about review scores in video games. Let's get into it. Scores at the end of reviews. It's always a thing that many people gravitate towards, whether it's a written review, a video review. There's always 4 out of 5 stars, 9.7 out of 10, stuff like that. We see it everywhere. And now people are kind of torn of whether or not we really need these. So let's start with the good. Let's talk about why we do need review scores. Review scores are a perfect summation of a review. It's a good period. It's a very good summation of what the person who's reviewing the game thinks of it. It essentially cements and legitimizes the review in question, the entire review. It kind of sums it up very well. That's simply one of the best reasons for review scores. It's important because it's easy identification, and as humans, we all gravitate towards percentages. It's something we can understand. And for those who don't really care at the end of the day, we are just talking about video games. Review scores are kind of fun. It's a cool little identifier at the end, and who cares? Either way, it doesn't really matter, right? But personally, I'm on the side of not needing review scores. I think they are unnecessary, and I think they're a blight on the video game industry. I know. Really, because at the end of the day, it's kind of an unnecessary distraction. It's arbitrary, and I think it takes away from the actual review. I've been reviewing games for like 4 years now through various parts of the internet, and almost all of the time, if it was my decision, I would not include review scores. And at the end of the day, and yes, maybe I am referring to the more stupid people who comment, and I don't mean to call some of you stupid, but at the end of the day, it's the distraction. You scroll down, you look for a number, and then you flip out. A lot of times review scores start arguments that don't even really matter and that don't actually focus on the particulars of the game. It's just arguments of the review score. Oh, Jim Sterling gave Assassin's Creed a 3, and then he gave some other game that I don't like a higher score. It doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. They're not talking about the game. It's taking the focus away from the game and what the purpose of the piece was, an evaluation of the game in question. And at the end of the day, when you are a reviewer and you're critically evaluating things, human nature, people are hypocritical. So a lot of times, yeah, you might like some crazy game for some reason better than another game. And at the end of the day, your rubric may not match up. You might rate one game that's an 8 and one game's a 9 and like whatever. And people will see that and flip out about it when at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter at all. For reviews, the evaluation is the focus, and that's always been my main thing, especially with videos. I don't want you to fast forward through my video because let's be honest, I need the view. At the end of the day, the core content is what I'm saying about the game. That's the most important thing. And that's how it used to be. Like, yeah, video game magazines always had a score at the end of their review. But like some movie reviews and some video game reviews in newspapers, even still today, don't have scores. But now we're in the age of the internet where everything, there's a distraction. You can see your review score and move on to something else. With something physical, in print, you just had the content and you read it and then that's it. So that's what I think. I think review scores are a bad thing. Yes, some outlets, some reviewers do work with them very well. Some people have creative ways of using review scores. I've tried different experimental things, but none of them have really worked out. But at the end of the day, they're just not for me, and they're not for the type of reviewing that I like to do. But like I said, guys, this is a video on an ongoing series of videos I'm going to be making talking about reviews. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of reviews and review scores. Do you like them? Do you gravitate towards them? Be honest. Do you find yourself just seeing a new review on IGN, and you scroll down to the bottom, look at the number, and then X out? Be honest. That's what this discussion is for. So let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, guys, I'm Jake Baldino. You can like me on Facebook, you can yell at me on Twitter, and you can subscribe because video games.